Hello, Nikki here from the Society of Witchcraft and Old Magic. I wanted to just speak briefly today about the Morrigan, basically because I told her that I would, as an offering, as an exchange for an act of magic that I was asking her to help me work on. I promised to speak about her publicly here on YouTube. So I'll just give kind of a brief summary of some basics about her. There's certainly loads of information out there, but of course you have to be discerning of your sources. The Morrigan is an ancient Irish goddess, known as one of the Tuatha Danann, or the people of the goddess Danu. The Morrigan is sometimes used as the name of a goddess acting in the old stories, and sometimes as apparently a title describing a group of goddesses or types of goddesses. And so she has many names that may fall underneath this umbrella of the Morrigan. Anu, Maka, Baiv, Nevin, Fea, to name a few of her names. She is primarily a goddess of battle, but she has a lot of other facets for which she is known, such as sorcery, although her sorcery is often used to shape battle. Her sorcery sometimes comes in the form of shape-shifting, as she takes many different forms, many different female forms, as well as animal forms through the mythologies. She is associated with prophecy and speaks prophecy in some of her stories. She is associated with death in the form of ravens and crows that come to scour and watch over the end of a battle, and the corpses of the dead, or who are present at the death of heroes. She has many, many facets. In my own gnosis, having been in service to her for many, many years in a lot of different ways, I believe that she gravitates toward people who are eagerly willing to work on releasing fear and who live in a fearless way because they have a very healthy relation to inner truth, to really knowing things clearly with their own mind, knowing themselves so clearly that there is nothing to be nervous about. People willing to put anxieties aside and admit that they're not needed. This seems to be the type of person to whom she is most attracted in terms of vestedness in working with human beings. So fearlessness and truth are two things that I have found go together and are part of the qualities that she would be seeking in a contact, in a trusted contact. It almost feels to me as though she could only put her trust in someone who demonstrates clearly with their actions that they trust themselves implicitly. And of course, this is my own gnosis, and everyone's going to have different experiences with deity, as these are personal relationships. But just giving my 2 cents, for me, having volunteered my services to her over the years in exchange for a rewarding relationship, in exchange for being taught a lot of magic and deep mystery and life lessons. It has been very rich and rewarding. I suppose I'll talk there. I was going to start talking about what it is like to be in service to her, but maybe that is a story for another day. If you are looking for resources, I do recommend Morgan Daimler's book on the Morrigan. I do recommend Stephanie Woodfield's book. And I also found the Book of the Great Queen by Ravenna to be influential as well. There are lots of others. There's a wonderful prayer book to the Morrigan out by Stephanie Woodfield and Karen Storminger that is excellent, that I recommend as well. And of course, going back to the most authentic translations of Irish mythology is always a great way to get a feel for how the Morrigan was documented most often in the old literature. So that is what I will say for today. Cead fáilte rud an Morrigan go raibh maith agat.